Welcome to this Not So Live Friday forum presented to you by Freddy Frogs today, Ableton certified tutor working here for Point Blank. So I'm really chuffed I got invited to show you this wicked technique. It involves using iZotope Stutter edit. Let's say that over the last 10 years we've seen the emergence of these digital slicers. I can think of the Glitch or even Artillery. Lucifer was a really good one. But 10 years ago I thought it wasn't instantaneous, there was some glitches and it wasn't really workable, mostly on stage as a performance tool. In the last 5 years, we've seen the emergence of a few products that I think have bridged the gap, the technological gap, and that's made these products or these specific effects really worthwhile and instantaneous. This is what you want. So I've been using Stutter Edit for about 6 months on stage. It's a great live performance tool, but today it's a production technique I'd like to show you. Using this amazing multi-effect, we're going to add a new stage to our production workflow. This could be at the very beginning of the process when you're actually creating your sounds, but it could also be at some later stage, like just after you finish mixing your tune. This is what I'm going to show you today. Now, there are other products quite similar and that could do a almost similar job. I think iZotope has the edge, but I was thinking of Native Instrument, The Finger, or also Tornado by Sugar Bites. These are also really good products, so I'll advise you to go and check them out as well. So today we're going to show you how a Stutter Edit could be used just after you're finished mixing your track, before you're about to master it, basically. I've left in this tune we're about to work with, I've left a lot of space in the edits. I didn't overdo the edits because I knew I would actually process the lot with iZotope to come up with some quite spectacular effects. These are going to add a serious twist to your music, so I'd advise you watch carefully. This is not such an advanced technique, it can be done quite easily, so let me demonstrate what I've got here. I got some drums tracks here, and you'll notice that all my drum tracks here have been routed through something called a drum bus. A drum bus is nothing else but just a single audio channel, a track here. Well, you may or may not know that in Ableton Live we can't really group the groups, so in order to merge certain sounds together, to process them together, we have to create these buses. So all you got to do is create a new audio track and route the tune, the tracks, sorry, that you need to process through to this new audio track using this I/O section, audio to drum bus. So you'll notice now that all my drum channels are routed and processed through this one channel like so. Okay, so I'm going to do this iZotope on the drum bus first. Let me introduce you to iZotope first. There you go, Stutter Edit. I'm going to drop that on that drum bus, so all my drum sounds are going to get processed by iZotope Stutter Edit. So this is a multi-effect unit with a stutter, a delay, a gate, another delay, and you can basically edit all the effects and make them your own. I've created a preset of my own here. It's called Freddy's main patch here, and it's been kind of optimized to work with the push in user mode, as this is a product I use a lot on stage. So the left-hand side pads here will usually be triggering effects on the drums, while the right-hand side here are more suited to process melody. But you'll find that they work both for any type of material. Now, iZotope reacts to MIDI notes. It's not like your usual effects, which reacts to CC, control changes. So you need to use it with either a controller that has either pads or keys, any controller that actually sends MIDI notes. So the pads on the push are ideal for this. The only trick really you need to remember is to create a new MIDI track. So it's a MIDI channel with no effect, nothing on it, it's empty like so. And we're going to use it to route the signal from the push over to the drum bus. If I find it, there it is. And you find that automatically Ableton recognized the Stutter Edit as a possible destination for the MIDI notes. So you'll find now that when I trigger the pads on my push, it should, yes it does it, it should trigger, you see, different patches, different presets on Stutter Edit. So this is a really hands-on technique. There are many ways to use it. The most classic way, I would say that the easiest way would be to actually trigger this with some MIDI clips. So let me just loop this part of the track, and this time I'm going to use the auto mode for the channel. So the MIDI notes I'm going to write are going to be transferred over to iZotope. Let me just create a MIDI note here, move it slightly back, and this in fact should now trigger an effect on the drum bass. Yeah, you hear the double kick here. So that's the kind of edits. Yeah, you can, yeah, this is a bit more spectacular. Yeah, every time I change the MIDI note, I get a different effect. Well, that's well and good. You could actually program all your MIDI notes like so, but I much prefer doing it live. I find it a lot more fun to do. And also, I'm going to record this in real time as audio. The results of these effects are going to be now merged or replace the actual drums I've got in my track, creating a really, really strong bound between these edits and the actual original drums. Let me show you what I do. I'm going to just work on this part of the track here. So I've got the MIDI here. I could rename that Stutter Send, for example. So you guys know what I'm doing. So that's the MIDI track that sends the information from push over to iZotope Stutter Edit. I'm going to create another audio track, and I'll call this one Record Stutter. Okay? So this channel here, I'm going to tell it, right, you're going to listen to Stutter Edit. And to do this, I need to open my I/O like so. Open the actual track and say, okay, you're listening to the drum bass. Let me just find this out of the list here. You see I've got quite a significant amount of tracks in this tune because well, it's kind of almost finished producing. Okay, and this is a monitor in channel. It's got to be on record mode in order to record my live effects. Let me just do a little test here. I'm going to hit the main global record button. So it's not passing the information to Stutter Edit because I forgot to have the channel as monitor in. Remember, if you're programming the MIDI notes, you leave it as auto. If you're doing it live, you leave it as in. Okay, so let's do this again, you see. Record. Cool, this is kind of working, I feel. Let's just make sure that this was recorded okay and play this back now. Yeah, it works, yeah. So you see, I get an audio file, a live recording of my edits. Really powerful stuff. Let's just do a whole recording on these drums, and then I'll show you how I deal with the material once I'm finished recording it. So it's really interesting effect. Always try to hit the downbeat. Some of them are quite in your face. Quite special, eh? Good one, that. Quite cool. And a bit more. The more material you record, the more chances you have to find some good stuff. Okay, I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to have a little listen to the material I just grabbed. Yeah, I quite like that one. So once you find something you like, you can highlight this actual part. Command E will split it from the rest. Do a little right click here. Oops. Do a little right click onto that. Change the color. It's quite important to change the color so you can go through it and remember which one you actually liked. Let's carry on. Yeah, I quite like this little one here at the end there. Let's just Command E, right click, change the color, carry on. Yeah, I quite like this end there. Change the color, carry on. Yeah, that was a good one there, quite subtle. And carry on. Bit too brutal, this one. Yeah, a bit brutal as well. Just gonna try to keep it a bit more subtle, if you may. Just move that across here and pull this one out. Let's see what we got on the early recordings. There. Yeah, quite like that. Quite special. Let's just split it and let's change the color. Let's carry on. Yeah, I quite like the end there. Not that big one, a bit too much, but this one is quite cool. Cool to carry on. Yeah, I think that'll do. Okay, great. So now I'm going to delete what I didn't really like in there. And I'm going to move this across a little bit. Cool, and bring these ones back in. So I can grab the whole of the material I really liked. Again, delete what you don't like. I'd advise you don't really try to move these sounds you have chosen to keep too much, because you may lose the timing on that. Good. So these are the bits I do like out of these mashup effects I just did in real time. Now, there are, I think, two ways to incorporate these into your actual arrangement. You could replace the original drums with these bits, or you could actually layer these bits on top of what you already have. So I'm going to call this first channel Replace now. I'm going to create another audio track, and I'm going to call it Layer. On the layer track, I'd advise you have a little cut on the low frequencies, not to muddy your mix too much. Right there, maybe higher up. You may as well, if you wanted to, add a bit of a delay, a bit of a space around to give it a bit more as a space so it works a bit better, okay? Now you need to decide which sounds you'd like to replace, which sounds you'd like to layer. So to do this, I'm going to play them layered and see how it works, or if it works at all. Yeah, that's probably a replacement job. So I'm going to delete the original drums right there and leave that here now. Yeah, maybe not actually. Let's just delete half of these original drums and see what happens. Not bad. Cool, that's a nice little glitch there. Yeah, probably a replacement job here. Yes. Yeah, I quite like this one as a layer. Let's hear it as a layer. Quite subtle little glitches. Again, I'm going to set this one as a layer. Make sure it's loud enough actually. Cool, that worked all right. Great, so you see, really interesting on drums, but it also works really well on vocals and melodies. Shall I show you this now? Same process we're going to go through once more. I can actually delete, stutter edit, or move it, I would say, over to the Vox bus, for example. So same system. All my vocals are being sent into a bus, so I can process these vocals together, compression, EQing, and right now, iZotope, stutter edit. So my stutter send here, I can move that down. I can keep the same one I had. Cool. I think Ableton Live will automatically recognize that I've moved this, this MIDI track over. Yes, you see, it's automatically adapted and it's sending now the MIDI messages over to stutter edit, but on the vocal bus this time. So it's quite cool that it does that. I've lost my MIDI track. Hold on, bear with me. I don't really need to move it in any way. Cool. Let's just make sure that it actually works. Vox bus, stutter edit. Let's hit the pads. Yes, it still receives the MIDI information. Fantastic. It's working. What I need to do now really is another audio track to try and record it. So let's call that record, right there. So this is receiving from the Vox bus right there, okay, and record mode enabled, okay. So let's have a look if it actually does work. Quite cool. Great, so this is sounding sweet. You can hear the vocal being quite seriously transformed by that, so it's quite powerful tool. Let's do a little recording on that. I'm not going to solo the vocal, I'm just going to play that with the drums. See? Great. Bit strong maybe. This one as well. Lovely. That was lovely. Cool. I think I've got some really cool material on the vocal. It works especially well there, I thought. Okay, let's have a listen to what we got. Record, let's make it 0 dB, and let's play it back. So, yeah, let's have a listen to that from the start here. See what we came up with. Lovely that. This is exceptionally good on vocals, I have to say. Let's have a listen to the rest. Can you hear me calling? It's strong, all this. Now I let go at last. Sink beneath the baseline. It's too strong again. That was quite okay. Let's split this one away. Walking with my black dog. Bit too strong again, I have to say. Let's carry on then. I think I have a lot more material here. Let's just move that away. Right there. Just make sure you don't lose the timing when you do that. Cool. And I'm just gonna listen to what I've got from these guys here. Elevator falling. That's quite cool. Could use that. Definitely. Change the color. Hear me calling. Yeah, that's all right. Let's just carry on and move that here. Now I let go. Sink beneath the baseline. That's all right. Let's just keep that one again. It takes a little time, but it's quite quick, in fact, doing all this. Yeah, a bit strong then. Yeah, it can be quite in your face, the effects we get from Stutter with it, but you know, if you choose carefully what you're using, should be okay. So, once again, delete what you didn't really like out of that, and keep what you like. So I'm going to create another audio track. Remember, one of them is replace, the other one is layer. Right there. Good. The layered one, I would again advise you have a little cut on the bass. Let me just find it here. I'm just going to get the same effects I had on the drums here. Right there. And I copy that over while holding the Option key over to the layered track here. Okay. I'm going to bring back all the material I moved aside here. Right there. Make sure you keep the timing when you're moving stuff around, yeah? If you lose the timing, it ain't going to be fun. Cool. Yeah, that's all off and there. Great. Sweet. Let's hear the replace one first. Yeah, not that great. might have a better one here. Let's try. Yeah, that's great. This is going to work much better once we got a bit of a delay onto it. Might work a bit better. Let's hear it with the delay now. Yeah, much better. Yeah, that sounds really cool. Yeah, I think it works much better as a replacement, as a layer, in fact, for the vocals than an actual replacement. I think with the drums it works nice with as actually replacing the original drums. But with the vocals, I'd rather actually layer them. Listen to that. Fantastic. Not something you'd be doing easily like that if you were not using iZotope Stutter Edit. I reckon iZotope has really brings something to the table we couldn't really do before. It wasn't like that, was it? So, as I said, you could use it directly programming the MIDI notes. You could use it live like I just did. I find it a lot easier, a lot more fun to use it live and record it as audio. That way it allows you to decide if you want to replace the original or if you'd like to layer on top of the original. It works great on bass line, it works great on melodies, on vocals and drums. It's quite a unique product. It's really responsive, and this is what I really like about Stutter Edit, is that it's quite instantaneous. There's no glitches about it. You can edit the presets, so if you want a bit more wet, a bit more dry, it's up to you. Look, I'm going to show you where that is, in fact, because that's something I often do once I start tweaking a little bit my my actual presets. Let me show you that. So over there at the bottom, you see you get the dry gain here and the effect gain. That's basically your wet and that's your dry. So sometimes you'd like to just not hear the original and replace that with the effect only. So that's often something I go and tweak. The preset manager here is quite funky. You go Command C, Command V, and it'll replace the gesture you had. So you see the MIDI notes here on the left, and you can basically move all your presets around so it fits your controller. Now, all these presets have been made by some really famous sound designer here, Astromain. You see, you got all the names here. Well famous, you see, Richard Devine has participated in creating these presets. That's always a good sign if Richard Devine is involved. And you see, basically, this really famous sound designer have spent a bit of time programming these presets for you. So I think the ones that come with Stutter Edit are pretty good, like top of the range, I'd say. I tweaked them slightly on the dry and the wet, but I've actually kept most of the presets I was using just now are the ones that come with Stutter Edit. Then you can basically save your actual preset and record it at a later date in Stutter Edit. So iZotope is a great company. They make other products like Alloy or what's their mastering suite already, Ozone. And I think my colleague did a little tutorial Friday Forum Live about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago on the Ozone mastering plugin. So you see there's a wide range of effects available from iZotope. I'd advise anyone to go and scatter a little bit the internet or search a bit on their website to see what they do. And it's well good. It's well good for performance. It's well good for production. So please go and dig it. Include that in your production workflow, and you'd find that you get a sound you couldn't really get before, something quite new, quite actual. In fact, the digital slicers are something a lot of producers, professional producers, are using nowadays. It's not as random as it sounds. Once you've recorded it, you can place it the way you want, you can process it to integrate it inside the mix the way you want, and this is going to take your production one stage higher, I have to say. I use this on absolutely all my tracks now. It's a bit of a secret, don't tell anyone. That's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this quite simple production process, but yet very efficient. I hope to see you soon on another Friday Forum Live. Over and out.
At Point Blank Online, you've got two methods of interaction with your tutor. Firstly, you've got the weekly online masterclass, which is in real time. And then also we've got feedback on your assignments, and that's known as DVR. So the online masterclass is a 1-hour session you get with your tutor every week. You can ask questions about lesson content and get instant feedback, and also demonstrations on the fly from their computer desktop with our streaming technology. DVR stands for Direct Video Response, and the concept is really simple. You upload your Ableton Logic or Cubase project file to your tutor, he downloads it and then pushes record on the screen capturing software and evaluates your work, so basically giving you one-to-one feedback. You see all of the mouse movements and any parameter changes made by your tutor. It's kind of like sitting in the studio over their shoulder watching what they're doing whilst they work. We have found the DVR process has truly revolutionized the way that we teach online, and the results speak for themselves. Book your place on a course now by visiting pointblankonline.net.